Welcome to Netrush Report, your home for tennis drama, raw emotion, and the stories shaking the sport's biggest stages. If you live for rivalries, shocking collapses, and the moments that define careers, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this is where tennis comes alive. The 2025 US Open had already given fans everything. Marathon five-setters, rising stars breaking through, legends clinging on, and a New York crowd hungry for more. But for American fans, there was a player who carried something special into the second week. Taylor Townsend, known for her fearless game, old-school net, rushes, powerful lefty serve, and larger-than-life energy. Townsend has been fighting for years to carve her place not just as a doubles powerhouse, but as a singles contender. Coming into this clash against Barbora Krejcikova, a two-time Grand Slam singles champion, very few gave Townsend a real chance. But that's the thing about Taylor. She thrives when nobody expects her to. From the first ball, it felt like destiny was on Townsend's side. The crowd inside Arthur Ashe Stadium was buzzing, and Taylor fed off every cheer. She attacked relentlessly, rushing the net, cutting off Krejcikova's angles, and striking her ground strokes with fearless precision. The first set? A 6-1 demolition. Townsend looked unstoppable. Krejcikova looked rattled. And suddenly, whispers turned into roars. Was this going to be the night Taylor Townsend made history? The second set was tighter. Krejcikova, as champions do, found her rhythm. But Townsend never let go of the reins. That 5-4, Krejcikova serving, 30-40. Taylor had her first match point. One shot away. The crowd leapt to their feet. But Krejcikova? Ice cold. She saved it with a perfectly placed serve. And that was just the beginning. Townsend would go on to hold 8 match points. Each one, a chance to close the book. Each one, denied, sometimes by Krejcikova brilliance, a backhand laser down the line, sometimes by a cruel net cord, sometimes by Townsend's own nerves, an overhit forehand, a missed volley, a second serve dumped into the net. The tiebreak? It was an epic. Townsend led 6-3. She led 7-6. She led 8-7. The crowd screamed after every point. But Krejcikova, somehow, refused to die. Finally, after saving match point after match point, Krejcikova stole the set 7-6, 13-11. And in that moment, the stadium's electricity turned into stunned silence. Tennis is as much mental as physical. And when a player has been so close to the finish line only to be dragged back, the weight can be crushing. For Taylor Townsend, it was. The third set began with Krejcikova carrying all the momentum. She broke early, defended every charge, and moved Taylor around until the American's legs looked heavy and her swings looked forced. Townsend kept fighting, because that's who she is, but the energy was slipping. After 3 hours and 4 minutes, Barbora Krejcikova completed the comeback. 1-6, 7-6, 13, 6-3. Townsend sat in her chair, towel over her head, shoulders shaking. She had given everything, and it still wasn't enough. What made this loss unforgettable wasn't just the scoreline. It was the human moment that followed. As the stadium applauded, Townsend sat crying on her bench, unable to hide the heartbreak. The dream run, the near upset, the 8 missed match points. It all came crashing down. But then something beautiful happened. The crowd, every last person in that massive arena, stood up. They gave her a standing ovation. They clapped. They shouted her name. They sent love her way. Townsend, still wiping away tears, stood up, waved, and left the court with her head held high. This wasn't just a loss. It was a reminder. The New York crowd had embraced her. And maybe, just maybe, her time will still come. In her press conference, Townsend was raw but composed. This hurts, she admitted. But it's part of competition. She talked about how far she'd come, how proud she was of beating Yelena Ostapenko earlier in the tournament, and how she still believed she could break into the top of the WTA rankings and one day win a slam. The message was clear. This wasn't the end of her story. We can't ignore the other side of this match. Barbora Krejcikova, who has made a career out of resilience, showed why she's a 2-time major champion. She didn't just play her best tennis. She played her bravest tennis when it mattered most. Saving 8 match points in front of a roaring pro-American crowd is the definition of mental toughness. Her reward? A quarterfinal showdown with Jessica Pegula, a matchup that promises another battle of wills. Where does Townsend go from here? She's still alive in the doubles draw, partnering with none other than Krejcikova's usual doubles teammate, Katerina Siniakova. The irony is heavy, but it could also be healing.as the top seeds, their favorites to go deep. Winning the doubles title at her home slam would be the perfect way to turn heartbreak into triumph. Beyond that, Townsend's singles performance in New York proved something. She can hang with the very best. She can beat Grand Slam champions. She can electrify crowds. And she can push elite players to the limit. On social media, fans poured their hearts out. Some called it the match of the tournament. Others said they had never felt so emotionally invested in a fourth-round clash. Tweets read, "Taylor deserved that win. My heart breaks for her. Krejcikova is stone cold. What a warrior. Townsend will be back. New York loves her." It wasn't just a match. It was a story. In tennis, we often celebrate the champions, the trophies, the glory. But sometimes, the most powerful moments come from heartbreak. Taylor Townsend's tears on Arthur Ashe weren't a sign of weakness. They were a sign of how much she cared, how much she wanted it, and how much she believes in herself. And for fans, those moments stay with us just as much as the celebrations. Taylor Townsend may have lost this battle, but she won something bigger: the love of the crowd, the respect of her peers, and the belief that her journey is only just beginning. As for Barbora Krejcikova, she marches on, once again proving that champions find a way to survive. What do you think? Was this the most heartbreaking match of the US Open so far? And do you believe Townsend can still become a Grand Slam champion one day? Let us know in the comments. And if you live for the drama, the heartbreak, and the unforgettable nights like this, make sure you subscribe to Netrush Report. Because tennis isn't just a sport, it's a story.